Hello, everybody. Today we're going to take a semi-deep dive into the upcoming Virginia General Assembly elections. It's going to be on the normal general election day, November 7th, and there's not a lot happening on that day, but this is going to be one of the main things to watch. So why is this important? Well, right now Republicans narrowly control the state House, Democrats narrowly control the state Senate, and they do have Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. If Democrats are able to flip the state House, they're going to be able to stop Youngkin's agenda. But if Republicans are able to flip that state Senate, then theoretically Youngkin is going to be able to get his agenda through. So there's a lot on the line here for Youngkin. You can see here in this ABC News article. Youngkin won a narrow, kind of a surprise victory in 2021, and he's actually maintained relative popularity throughout the past couple of years. So beyond the Youngkin agenda in Virginia, this also could affect what Glenn Youngkin does down the road in terms of seeking another political office. There's also been rumors of him maybe jumping into the presidential race this year to try to beat Donald Trump. I'm never going to say it's impossible, but I'm going to say it's very unlikely. I think if Youngkin tried to take on Trump, he would go down like everybody else. He would also be throwing away most of his political capital without even getting anything out of it. So Youngkin is going all in, and why not? He's popular. He's kind of bridged the gap between the establishment and the Trump base. The state has become increasingly blue, so he's out doing what everybody loves to do in politics, and that is talk to the donors. There's going to be a lot of money flowing in these Virginia elections, and there's not even an election for a statewide office happening. So let's get on Wikipedia and see what's happening. So in Virginia, it's the House of Delegates, not the House of Representatives. There's 100 seats in that chamber, and all 100 of those representatives are going to be up for election. Now, since the last election, there has been redistricting, so that's going to complicate things at least a little bit more. So there are new lines. I'm not going to go into that on this video, and I can't take a look at each district, but in the last election in 2021, Republicans won 52 of those seats, Democrats 48. Now, with some vacancies, it's a little bit lower than that, but Republicans are in the narrow majority there. Now, maybe you're from Virginia or you happen to know these districts really well. There's a map here on Wikipedia, but there are a lot of retirements happening, 28 of them, 13 Republicans, 15 Democrats. Some of them are going to run for state Senate, some of them are going to retire. So theoretically, Democrats have very little to do if they want to flip that chamber. Republicans also have very little to do if they want to hold on to it. Now, there's a lot of districts here. It's hard to know which ones are actually going to be competitive. We'll come back to that a little bit more in a few minutes, but real quick, if you jump on Ballotpedia, there's a whole lot of resources here on this page, but they do have a section of battleground districts. They've got 7 for the House on here. Keep in mind that's after redistricting. You could always click on each district to get more information if you'd like. Now, how about the state Senate? Well, let's go back to Wikipedia. There are 40 state senators in Virginia, and all of them will stand for election this time. And in the last election, Democrats came out with a 1-seat majority, 21-19. There was, since a special election, Democrats were able to narrowly flip one more seat, so they've got a 22-18 advantage. But again, redistricting makes things a little bit more complicated. So we've got 10 of these 40 that are not seeking re-election, 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats. Republicans would have to pick up 2 seats here for a tie. Then apparently the lieutenant governor would break any ties. That's a Republican. But Democrats could hold on, have a 1-seat majority, and I'm sure that would be a complete success for the Democrats. They would be sure to not give Glenn Youngkin any political victories. But on the other hand, Republicans, they could have a good night, maybe pick up 2 or 3 seats, and that would be a significant blow to the Democrats and a massive boon for Glenn Youngkin. If that happened, he would finish out his final 2 years in full Republican control. He might even run for the U.S. Senate at that point. Maybe he even runs for president in 2028. I think the sky would be the limit for Youngkin in that scenario. So if we go back to Ballotpedia, we can take a look at those competitive Senate districts. We've got 8 of them on here, and there's far too many districts to look at individually. I couldn't tell you which way any of these are going to go. That's going to be for other sites who know more about it on a local level, but there is a ton happening here in Virginia, and we've got Wikipedia and Ballotpedia, great resources. But if you want something even better that specifically pertains to Virginia, the Virginia Public Access Project has a ton more information. For starters, you could look at all the House districts in Virginia and see which way the political lean is. You could do the same thing for the state Senate. Of course, a ton of these are deep red or deep blue, but if you go toward the center, this is going to be where all the action is. You could also highlight any of these districts to get more information. You can double click on them to get a lot more background about the specific district. You can go back up here and take a look at the map. This will show you where all the districts are, give you a good overview of how the state Senate looks, or the state House, or even the U.S. House. And another thing we could do is to take a look at the key races on here, the ones that are expected to be competitive. And like always, all the links will be down below in the description. For example, we've got House District 21. This shows you where the district is on the state state map. It's in Prince William County. Then we've got a zoomed in view of the map. Then we've got your candidates on each side. And if you want more, you could go down here and take a look at the demographics of the voters in that district. And if you go down past the age and the race, we could look at the political leanings of the recent elections. This competitive district voted for the Democrats by 1.8 in the general election in 2022. For governor, though, they went for Youngkin by 3.4. That certainly qualifies as a swing district. Down here, looks like we've got some precinct results for the congressional election and the midterms. Past that, we've got campaign finance. You could take a look at how much both of these guys have raised. And it tells you that it's number 17 out of 100 in total money raised. You could even take a look at their funding sources. And you can even take a look at some of the ad spending. You can click on this for even more detailed results. But there really is a ton of information here. You could do this for every district, not just the competitive ones. I don't know how much interest you're going to have in looking at the non-competitive races, but I think you get the idea. There's a ton of information here. One other thing we could do is take a look at what might be the key issues for voters in this election. Well, here's an article that kind of sums up a little bit of it. We've got abortion and education. Glenn Youngkin has proposed a 15-week abortion ban with exceptions. That's certainly a much more moderate position than a total ban, but Democrats are bullish on that issue. They don't want to hear anything about restrictions, so it remains to be seen if that's going to be enough to put Democrats over the top. But then you've got education. Republicans want parents to be notified of what's happening in the schools. If any changes are happening with their children, they're looking to keep them more involved. That kind of issue is probably going to help Republicans more, but is that going to be enough to put them over the top? I think it's a complete toss-up. Obviously, there's many other issues out there. The economy is on the top of the list, and even with other specifics related to abortion and education, voters might have some different thoughts there, and it's not going to necessarily fit neatly in with one party or the other. So finally, if you want to get a more in-depth sense of what voters are thinking in Virginia, here is some recent polling. It does cover a variety of issues, including the ones I just mentioned, abortion and education. It also shows you that Governor Glenn Youngkin, he is fairly popular. His approval rating in this poll is 55%. That's pretty good, especially for a Republican in this state. So you could look through all this if you'd like. There's plenty more. It talks about book bans, voter enthusiasm, and then all the way at the bottom, there's the crosstabs, so you could look at all the different demographics. And if you put all that together, you've got yourself an important election coming up in Virginia. I don't think either side should feel slightly comfortable. Hardcore Democrats might say it's all about abortion. Democrats have been overperforming in special elections. They're going to come out in droves and give their party a big boost. Hardcore Republicans might say Governor Glenn Youngkin, he is popular. He's got enough of the Trump base and the establishment behind him. He's staked out popular enough positions on different issues to be able to give his party the majority in November. I think it's going to be exciting to see what happens. We'll get a lot of answers in a couple of weeks. And on that election day, there are also other elections happening for the state legislature in New Jersey and Mississippi. Maybe something notable happens there, but Virginia is going to be where all the focus is on, possibly a bellwether for 2024. But I'm going to leave it there for now, so let me know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen in Virginia? Is it going to be as easy as Democrats making gains, or are Republicans going to have full control? Is it going to be narrow, or are a lot of seats going to flip? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.